You got to go talk to 1,000 cold calls to lead to, 8/10ths of a sale. The higher end of selling things is really trying to help somebody make an informed decision more than like low-level sleazy salesmanship. Yeah. The higher end of selling things is helping people make an informed decision, have the shamelessness to very clearly and precisely define the target market. Like, these are the people that I could help. Right. These other people, it's not for them. Right. And let people self-select. And a lot of that is just experience, or you get to a point where you've had enough frustration trying to sell something to the wrong person, and then you dealt with enough negative management experiences because you matched up the wrong person with the wrong something. And then you get to see that, and you're just like, what the fuck? And someday you'll have a breakthrough epiphany of that, hopefully right now. Maybe you have already. Maybe I'm preaching to the choir. But the higher end of selling things is not trying to convince somebody, persuade somebody of something, but much more so is like help them make an informed decision of, these are the type of people that I could help in this context, this context, this context. These other people that aren't like that, probably there's something else for you to be doing. Maybe it's better, maybe it's worse, but it's probably not the right person, Yeah. And if you can do that, high-end real estate is kind of that. You're talking about realty, but high-end real estate is kind of that. Is that, and then just having a little patience inside to deal with eccentric, weird people that are like, yes, I'm going to buy the $8 million house, but I need you to watch my poodle on Tuesday. And you're like, all right, I guess that's what we're doing. I'm putting it, at one time I thought about creating a separate program about negotiation. And I put so much goddamn effort into these programs that I don't want to make another one. So now I'm expanding rather deeply the negotiation modules within real estate, because a lot of negotiation is real estate anyway, The most expensive thing that a normal person negotiates in their lifetime is probably their house. And in a business context, you're going to be negotiating, a lot of the same things that apply to property, residential or commercial real estate deals. A lot of the same principles you could apply to your business in terms of, machinery purchases or large level equipment, or, farm type equipment that's quite expensive. It's not crazy dissimilar to negotiating various real estate things. A lot of the same principles can apply. So a lot of things that I wanted to include in negotiation. There's going to be a rather heavy element of negotiation theory and negotiation, case studies, examples through the real estate program. So, you'll see. I think you'll appreciate it quite a lot. Well, I got on a segment about crisis leader versus administrative leader. There's some people that are better administrative leaders. This isn't where I was going, but I'll just say another side of that coin. There's some people that are just better administrative leaders that. They're the people during calm times. They make everything run smooth and keep everything in order, and and so on and so on. And I look for people like that in my life. This is what I was going to say. Is I can't bring myself to say the same fucking thing repetitively like a script. You were talking about sales scripts. I can't bring myself to fucking say, blah 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 blah. I've seen people do sales scripts where like. They intentionally put in like misspeaks or stutters or things like that in a fucking communication. Have you seen that type of thing? And
not yet.
There's a guy that we all know that I don't want to say his name out of respect, but I know a guy that's very good at that. He's a great method actor, and he might say the same thing fucking 400 times, with the same stutter or the same change in vocal inflection at this point or this point or that point. And I'm just like, it's not to take away from him. If you were an actor, if you were like, if you worked on Broadway, if you were an actor, that you go do your thing, like, that's an amazing skill if you're a fucking Broadway performer. I'd be useless at that. I'd be good at improv because I can deal with anything in improv, But, in any case, I think what I got on that tangent was just that you were talking about scripted things or, people that, it's better to be a little imperfect sometimes. So I don't beat myself up about, if I walk into a room like this, I have no fucking idea what we're going to talk about tonight. I want to go meet the people and understand, all right, where are you at right now? I'm like, I knew when I seen you yesterday, I knew that I didn't remember if you were here in September or October. I know you were just here recently. You know, I'm saying, oh, I don't remember if it was September or October. See where the guy's at. I thought you made a very smart comment yesterday about, you know, the main problem in that one context is, you know, just tone down the volume, tone down the volume by 2/3, and, you know, probably you're going to have more energy for your other goals and ambitions, you know. I thought that was a smart comment. And, but I have no fucking idea what I'm going to say when I walk in here. I know whatever happens that I've only been thinking about this shit for 30 fucking years. You know, whatever happens, I'm going to deal with it. It's going to be good. I want to see the clients win. I really don't think there's anybody else in the goddamn world that could help, you know, better than I can with most scenarios, especially for somebody that's like a smart, upwardly mobile person, you know. Yeah. So it's, you know, the main point I think I want to make to you is that, you know, when in your communication with other people, like, it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be scripted. It doesn't have to be, you know, on the open. It's not like it has to be there has to be a certain outcome immediately, or you fucked up or something. These are not mission critical things. This is not like his NASA mission where he has to get the fucking thing to land in a certain spot on the moon at a certain time with a certain rate rotation and gravities and this and that and that's and this is and nerd shit that I don't even know about, you know. It's not mission critical. Like in this context, if you go say something that comes off a little off, you're like, well, I'm a dumbass for a moment, and you could laugh at yourself for a moment, and then you can go talk to another stranger. But, you know, I got a buddy that runs a pretty high level logistics business, and he's got a call center. They do, he used to have about 700 employees. He scaled that down to about 550, fired a bunch of them. But they got a call center that they do something like, I don't want to say the number wrong. I think they're doing, he said they're doing, you know, per every 1,000 calls they do a few thousand calls a week. And per every 1,000 calls they do, it's about 15% of people that, you know, it's worth a second follow-up. Or say 1.5%, it's about 15 people. It's about 15 people, 1.5% that are even worth a follow-up or something. There's some amount of little petty traction, you know. So about 1.5% get through that first, you know, stage in the funnel. And then, you know, of those 15, you'll have meetings with 3 of them, and you'd be fortunate if one out of those 3 closes a sale, you know? You gotta go talk to 1,000 cold calls to lead to, you know, 8/10 of a sale. So, you know, and that said, he still makes a hell of a lot of money. And if he was just like, you know, oh fuck, it's only 1 in 1,000, 1 in 1,250 that's gonna turn into something, I'd give up. But if you didn't have a similar enthusiasm with all 1,250, there wouldn't be the sale, you know?
Yeah, you wouldn't even get that one.
Yeah. And, you know, and some of his contracts are $180 million, individual contracts.
Yeah.
Many of them are 20 million, 25 million. So when you get to that one, it's still a lot of money. So, which is why you can build call centers and, you know, go do the thing. So, but don't try to make it perfect. Like, you know that. You're probably a good math guy. You seem like you think logically.
I like to think so.
Yeah. Just think through the numbers of that, and like, you know, there's going to be a large sample size. You could have spectacular outcomes, but you don't know which one of them is the thing that's going to hit. You don't know which one of them is the right person that might be your longtime girlfriend, might be your children's mother, might be your business partner, might be the crazy lady that's going to get you the commission on the $8 million property, but you got to watch her poodle for the day. You know, you don't know which one's going to be. You have to treat all of them like it might be that person, and you have to believe that inside. It's just have an open-mindedness or evenness about of like, well, let me go do my thing and see who I can help and how I can help, and but guard your time well. That if you're talking to an imbecile, it's better to say, oh, good luck with that. Good luck with that. Keep it moving, you know? I don't think a person can't even make a good decision without a good fundamental knowledge of economics. Everybody's an economist, whether they know it or not. Yeah? Whether they know it or not, they're all an economist. So then there's different gradients of economic decisions. And You know, you don't need a fucking PhD in economics to get through life, but if you understood some basic things of, you know, probabilities, you know, basic statistics to go with that. Without statistics, you can't do your econ too well, you know. You need some basic math skills there. And if you could discern, you know, probabilities and if you could think through, you know, subjective marginal utility curve of, it's not just, you know, trade-off of A, B, or apples, oranges, but, you know, that the three-dimensional model of that, or the infinitely dimensional model of that, where you know, it's your trade-off of, you know, money versus kitties versus time with your mom versus petting the puppy versus taking an extra nap, or, you know, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, you know, dot, 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 dot. So, you know, I think econ's very worth, you know, maybe I took 10 econ classes in my life, you know, which is still a pretty solid foundation for a normal person. But I think that's quite useful. I use this stuff every day. I think about it every day. It helps me make money, helps me have better friendships, helps me have better, you know, romantic situations in my life. I think it helped every area of my life. So, nothing wrong with that. And regarding if you're a freshman at 25, then, well, what's your alternative? You're 25 either way. So, you know, do you want to be a graduate when you're 29, or do you want to?
Right. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Then here you are. So people say shit to me occasionally. They're like, you know, Derek, how much do I need to get started? Or usually talking about an investment of some kind. How much do I need to invest in the stock market? Or how much do I need to do this or that? And it's like, well, you know, wherever the fuck you're at, where would you start except right where you're at? Where the fuck would anybody start on their next project? So, you know, right where you are right now. Just objectively, like, look at the balance sheet of your life, or what are the assets, what are the liabilities, you know, what are the assets that are worth, what are the assets that I can nurture to give me a great return on investment and bring more, you know, utils or happiness points to my life? What are the liabilities that are worth fixing? What are the liabilities that are probably just going to linger around there that I kind of wish I fixed it? You know, if I had the time someday, I'll make it a priority. But some of them are never worth fixing. You just come to terms with them and you're just like, no, this is my life, I guess. You're not supposed to be a fucking super gangster at 25, you know? But, you know, if you're building that repertoire of, you know, doing challenging things that are going to make you feel more competent, that, you know, earning skills that you'll be more competent, which will, you know, allow you to feel more confident, which allows you to take on a harder thing yet and accomplish that too, and a harder thing yet and accomplish that too, and, you know, pretty soon it's, you know, more. You notice I don't use words like, I don't think it'd be useful for you to pretend to be more macho. No, just, you know, do things that are going to increase your competence, which you're already doing some of them. I'll learn about some more, I bet, and then you'll naturally feel more confident. You just keep with that cycle, man. Set, you know, short-term and mid-term goals and make sure you achieve them. And new short-term and mid-term goals and make sure you achieve them. And then someday you wake up and you look around and you're like, you know, when I walk in a room, if it's not real clear to me who the leader is, then I guess I'm the leader. And you're going to take control of the room and say, hey, we're doing this now. And, you know, if the leader appears, if the more established leader appears, then you have to make an assessment of like, well, is this person going to get an outcome that's better for me, better for the group? Or am I going to challenge that leadership and maybe I'm going to have a better outcome for me, for the group, for whatever the goal is in that context, you know? And, you know, I don't say that in a cocky way. I mean it in a very sincere and a very humble way. Like anywhere that I go in life, I just presume, if it's not clear to me when I walk in a room who's in charge, then in my head I'm just in charge immediately. If I've never been there in my life, if I'm around 20 strangers that I never met in my whole life, if I walk in a room and it's not clear who's in charge, I just presume like, well, I guess that's me. And if there's something to be done, then you just go about taking care of it. I imagine you're that way in a lot of contexts. Yeah. And I don't mean that in a macho way at all or some tough guy type talk. It's just a time management tool, you know? There's a lot of people sitting around doing not much in life that are kind of waiting for somebody to nudge them in the right direction so they can fucking actually go do something. And they'll just sit there dormant until you do. They'll just sit there and do nothing. They might die. They might die having not accomplished something if nobody showed up and say, you know, hey man, let's go work on this together and we're all going to be better off. Hey, let's go do this and we're all going to be better off, you know? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But do you see how that, let me say one more way, like, you know, I don't know, you're into economics, so, or you're at least interested in, I know you said you're a freshman, so you haven't studied a whole lot of econ properly yet, but you like the topic, so you probably know who like Milton Friedman is. Is somebody that I have a lot of respect for, or, Ludwig von Mises is, another economist, or Thomas Sowell. Thomas Sowell is still alive. I think he's a really sharp guy. But I'll just say it differently for it to be relatable to the group. So, would you be interested in, if you could have time with Warren Buffett, would you be interested in spending time with Warren Buffett?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, if you had a Warren Buffett, if he himself were some other, almost godly type, deity type character, if he could just send you a text message every morning, and actually knew you, he knew who you are, he knows how you think, he actually cares about your future outcomes. If he wrote you a message every morning and said, hey dumbass, if like 3 bullet points every day, it's like, hey dumbass, some insult, first bullet point insult, hey dumbass, cut this shit out immediately and do more of this. So if it was just like insult, stop this, do less of this, do more of that. Would that be okay with you?
Yes.
Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah.
I'd love that. I wish Warren gave a fuck that I exist and wrote me every day and say, hey dumbass, do less of this and more of this today. And the next morning he was magically aware of my outcomes or my micro improvements and say, all right, numbnuts, now less of this and more of that. Wouldn't that be a dream? So if I feel that way, I'm pretty goddamn independent. And if I feel that way, I more or less think every other fucking human must feel this way. I'm pretty damn I'm the only child. I'm the only grandchild on both sides. I'm extremely comfortable just being by myself, reading a book, or much happier to be alone than with the wrong people, So I'm very happy to be independent, and I never feel bored by myself. I very frequently feel bored with others, just normal people in society. Not here, not a well-selected group of good quality people, but I'm very frequently bored when I have to go deal with normal people out there. I'm never bored by myself. Never feel that way. My brain's always active and thinking about something, doing something. So, any case, I think that there's a lot of people out there they'd love to have someone that if you have good intentions and you're competent, and a lot of people would love for you to tell them what the fuck to do. A lot of people would love for you to fill that role in their life. A lot of women are going to like that. She's looking for a guy that brings more certainty, more confidence to her life. And you're not doing her a favor, when you're a little hesitant or reluctant or shy. You're not doing her a favor at all. And the same thing with guys, as far as, to the extent that you're going to go do something in business or in your career or whatever it might be, you're not doing the world a favor being reluctant to do things that you could have stepped up and take the lead on. Does that make sense? Can you tie those pieces together like I'm talking about? So just give yourself permission. Like I said to him, it's like, it's not going to be perfect. You're 25, bro. It's not supposed to be perfect. And guess what? You're going to be 55, and it's still not going to be perfect. You're still going to have foibles and fuck ups. And I had a guy. His name was Frank. When I was a little peasant boy and I worked at Walmart. My last job was at Walmart. I got that job when I was 18, recently out of jail. I lied on my Walmart application, and I said that I lied twice. I said that I was a high school graduate, which at that time I wasn't, and I said that I had no criminal record, and at that time I did. And just think about that. You had to imagine you were in a place in your life that you had to lie twice to get a job at Walmart, to unload a semi-truck. So that was me at age 18. So Frank, 4 months later, he was a store manager. And Frank used to work with Sam Walton. He was an old guy. He was in his 60s then. And he was from Arkansas, and his accent sounded just like Arkansas. And over time, I met the district manager and got to know him well, and I met a regional vice president, and it was affirmed by other higher ups that when Frank was a young man, he used to, in fact, work with Sam Walton back in Arkansas because he was that fucking old. So this is back in the 1990s, and he would have been back in Arkansas in the 1960s. So, Frank told me, he gave me a promotion after 4 months. You had to be there at least 6 months. I was there 4, but he also knew that if he didn't do something with me, that he wasn't going to be able to keep me around there because I was a bit overqualified for unloading trucks and stocking shelves, you know? So Frank gave me a promotion to department manager, and I was in charge of paper goods and chemicals, which is like brooms and mops and toilet paper and detergent and Swiffers and bleach. But I had 2 departments, which most people only get 1, so I thought that was kind of cool that he trusted me to do more. And then when he gave me that promotion, I was still 18, and I had a couple guys and some women too that were working under me. That it's my job to tell them what to do now, and I used to be a coworker with them, and now I'm their new boss, and I'm 18. And the one guy is like 59, and he's like a Vietnam veteran, and he's not excited about his 18-year-old boss. I could see why. His name was Richard. And anyway, Frank told me that he's like, you're going to have to make the most important thing that you need to know, something that Sam Walton told me, and something that I have to tell you, is the most important thing that you need to know here is it's important to make a decision. Occasionally, you'll make the wrong decision. When that happens, and it will, I need you to be able to explain to me, how were you thinking about this? How did you make the decision? What were you thinking about it? How were you thinking about the problem? I need you to be able to explain that to me. And if you make a bad decision here and there, we'll talk about it. I might give you some guidance on how to do better in the future, and it'll be okay. What's not okay, you cannot be indecisive. You're a young man that's now in charge of these other people, and if you're indecisive, they won't respect you, they're not going to listen to you, and I have to take you out of this position, and you're going to have to go do something else. So, he gave me that promotion. He told me that he's going to have to fire me if I don't listen. It's okay to make a fucking error here and there if I could explain to him how I was thinking about it, and he could tell me how to do better next time. But it was not okay to not make a decision. You understand? I think that's a useful piece of advice. I've thought about that for 23 years off and on. And it's a little thing that rattles around in my head that if it's not clear to me who's in charge, then I suppose I am. So don't again, think of that in a very sincere, humble way. It's not it's not a new macho sword or something to you understand? Yeah. But give yourself permission that, I'm going to fuck it up once in a while, but if nobody's doing something, then I'm the one that has to be in charge. We got to go get something done. We're not going to sit around and do nothing. We got to go do something. If nobody else is going to take charge, then I guess I am. Yeah? I personally, I never had to, I don't need to be in charge all the time. I don't have like a ego thing that I need to be in charge. On the mastermind calls, there's a lot of mastermind. How many people are in mastermind here? A lot of you. Look around. Look how many. All right? And I love to be on those calls, because when I talk to those people, all of them are like winners. They're all doing something great already. And I'm so happy that I could shut the fuck up for a while and listen to other smart people tell me about their successes and the things that are going on. I'm so happy I could just shut the fuck up. Or, a few of us were standing around talking last night. I'm so happy when somebody else is doing most of the talking, or that you're showing me some new things that you created, a new program that you created, and you were telling me about a new business idea. I'm so happy to just shut the fuck up, or we would talk for quite a while too. So I don't have like an egoic thing that I got to be in charge all the time. In this context, people came here to see me, so I'm going to do most of the talking, But I don't really feel that way in my social groups. I don't want to even. I wish I had Warren Buffett to say, "Hey, dumbass, less of this and more of that." So just have that open-mindedness that be that person that takes charge when it's appropriate, and feel comfortable about it. Look, if you have sincere good intentions for other people, you're not forcing them to do anything that's fucked up, or it's good for you to do that. So.
Derek's course is making me think about real estate differently, thinking about it as a business where I'm the boss, my hard work, my networking skills, my dedication goes into my own success. This course lays out a framework where if you follow the instructions, I can't imagine a situation where you don't achieve your wealth goals.
Thanks for watching. Success is not for everybody, and it may not be for you. If you are or are on your way to be a millionaire or multimillionaire, probably going to want to spend time with my clients. Probably going to want to have a personal relationship with me so we can accelerate that process, get you living up to your maximum potential, earning your maximum wage. You're going to want to click that follow button. You're going to want to click that bell and get notifications. Tune in every Friday. Tune in every Monday. You're going to love what you see. I look forward to having you as a client in the future.